Welcome to Record Access with Sharing Rules, the 8th video in the Who Sees What series. These videos provide admins the basics on visibility and data access in Salesforce. Sharing rules enable admins to open up access to certain users, allowing for exceptions to organization-wide default settings. In this video, we'll implement sharing rules to open up record access to users when the org-wide defaults are set to private or public read-only. At AW Computing, we set the org-wide default sharing settings on opportunities to private, so only the person who owns the record can see it. We also created a role hierarchy to open access up to certain roles. There are a few ways to look at the role hierarchy. Here, we'll use the list view. Now, Sales Ops can see the opportunities of all users below them in the hierarchy, and the US Sales Managers can see opportunities of users in the inside sales rep role. But AW Computing has grown and has added another sales team for the Asia Pacific region. Sales Ops still sees all opportunities. US Sales Managers still see their team's opportunities, and APAC Managers see their team's opportunities. The role hierarchy allowed us to open record access up vertically. However, we need a way to extend record access horizontally so that the US Sales Manager role can see records owned by users in the APAC roles. The APAC Manager can see records owned by users in the US roles. Sharing rules let us extend access to users in roles, public groups, or territories regardless of their place in the role hierarchy. Let's see how this works. In AW Computing's Salesforce org, we'll set up sharing rules so that opportunities are visible to the people who need to see them. Sharing rules are in the same place as our org-wide defaults, under Security, Sharing Settings. Let's scroll down to the Opportunity Sharing Rules section and click New. We'll give our rule a label, and a unique name will auto-populate. Let's call this one US Shares to APAC Manager. This rule is based on record ownership, so we'll leave that radio button selected. We'll share opportunities owned by the US Sales Manager and subordinates. To do this, we'll select Roles and Internal Subordinates from the dropdown, then US Sales Manager from the next dropdown. Next, we select Role, then APAC Sales Manager. We give the Sales Manager read-only access to opportunities owned by the US team, and click Save. Now we'll create a second rule that shares the APAC records with the US Manager. This is also based on record ownership. We'll share the records owned by the APAC Sales Manager and their subordinates with the US Sales Manager and give read-only access. Now the Sales Managers can see the opportunities in all regions. So we've just seen sharing rules based on record ownership. Now let's take a look at a rule based on record criteria. We want the finance team to have visibility into any opportunities that the sales team has won. This rule is based on record criteria, where the one field on the record equals true. Any record that matches this criteria is shared with the finance manager and subordinates with read-only access. Nice! Even though our org-wide defaults for opportunities are private, we've given access to the teams that do need visibility by creating sharing rules. Let's review how the layers of visibility and access work. A user's baseline permissions on each object are determined by the user's profile, permission sets, and permission set groups. Record access is set first by the org-wide defaults. If the defaults are public read-write, you don't need to grant further access. But if the defaults are anything less than public read-write, you can open access back up to certain roles using the role hierarchy. And the record owner can also share individual records with other users by using the Share button on the record. Now you've learned how sharing rules can extend record access and how to create rules based on record ownership or record field criteria. To learn more about visibility and access, check out all the videos in this series. Up next, we'll dive into record types. You can also search for these topics in Salesforce Help. Or come join us on the trail at trailhead.salesforce.com. Thanks for watching.